If you don't know what a doubloon is, oh my god, please look it up on TikTok. Why in the world did I even read this? Hey my little raindrops, welcome back to the channel, or welcome home. My name is Desiree. It is so nice to have you here. Get cozy, grab a blanket, grab something to drink, because we're talking about the books that I read in November. First things first, I will probably be taking a lot of breathing breaks as I record this video because I'm just getting out of a cold. You can probably hear it. I'm still a little bit like congested. It's been a little bit over a week and I'm finally like feeling good enough to record a video and talk. But expect a lot of cuts in this video because of this particular reason. Regardless, we're gonna have some fun. I have a lot of really good books to talk to you about. I only have 2 that are 4 stars, and all the others are either 5 or infinity stars. I'm also going to be talking a little bit about my rating system in this video, because I finally kind of set it in stone. I hadn't really taken the time to choose a rating system until recently. Like, I would just rate books however I saw fit. And especially now that I post a lot more of bookish content, I post a lot more on Instagram, you know, I post reviews often too. So I kind of wanted to have something that was set in stone. So I'm gonna pull it up because I can't remember it. So how I rate my books as of a couple weeks ago. 1 star, which I rarely have rated a book 1 star. Why in the world did I even read this? So that's kind of self-explanatory. 2 stars. This sucked, but it could have been worse. 3 stars. Nah, that was good. 4 stars. This was really good. 5 stars. Now that was good. And then infinity. I will recommend this to everyone within my vicinity and would literally write a 50-page paper on this book. So that's the rating system. Now, where should I start? No particular order. We're just gonna grab the first one we have, and that is Love Light Farms by B.K. Borison. Let me begin by saying that I rated this infinity stars, which means that I would indeed write a 50-page paper on this book. This was the Tabby's Annotating Book Club for the month of November. I did have In the Weeds by B.K. Borison. This is a series. They can be read as standalones, but I would strongly recommend reading it as a series just so you get the background story. Love Light Farms is the very first book in the series. It is, I believe it's called the Love Light series? I'm not entirely sure. You follow Stella and Luca. These 2 are absolute best friends. They have been best friends for like almost 10 years. Stella owns a tree farm, perfect for Christmas, and the tree farm is struggling financially. Just everything has been going wrong. There's been some vandalism going on. She's been losing a lot of trees and losing pumpkins during the fall, which, you know, a lot of income was lost there. Anyways, so she gives her name for this super popular content creator slash influencer who does like these episodes on her YouTube channel where she visits certain businesses to, you know, promote them a little bit more, and it's also part of what she does on YouTube. Anyways, Stella puts her name and she gets chosen, but in her application she said that she ran the tree farm with her boyfriend, which Stella is single as a Pringle, okay? Like, she does not have a boyfriend whatsoever. And so she needs to ask someone to be her fake boyfriend. Of course, when she did this, she actually had someone in mind, and that is her best friend, Luca. She's had feelings for the guy for a very long time, and she hasn't really acted on it. So this is the kind of book, like, there's a bit of miscommunication in there, you know, like the kind of miscommunication you have when both of them have been in love for like 10 years, but they don't say anything to each other, so they just stay friends even though they're like obviously in love with each other. It's also like the kind of relationship where literally everybody knows that they're in love with each other except them. Time passes a little bit, like she has to like hurry it up, like she needs to find herself a fake boyfriend, and she doesn't want to ask Luca because what's gonna happen? What if he says no? What if it makes things weird and awkward, you know, like that whole shebang. Anyways, she asks him, and of course Luca is just like, of course I'll do it. You know, it's giving a little bit like Golden Retriever mixed with Adam Carlson. Honestly, like that's what it is. You know how Adam was just like, yes, I can fake date Olive. This is this, except that Luca is very much Golden Retriever. This book is, it's amazing found family. All of the characters in this book are so great together, and Stella's best friend Layla has her own book called It's Mixed Signals. I can't remember if that's the second or the third book. I think it's the third. The second one follows Beckett, which is Stella's other really close friend. So she runs the farm with Layla, who is the baker, and Beckett, who is kind of like the farmer, the farmhand. Like he absolutely loves animals. He is very much Golden Retriever and introvert, but he's incredibly hot. So you get the kind of vibe he's giving. His book is In the Weeds. Beckett's book is In the Weeds. Layla is Mixed Signals, and Stella is obviously Love Like Farms. And then we've got another book that B.K. Borison is going to be releasing next year, I think, in the fall, which is going to be following Charlie, Stella's stepbrother. He's going to have his own story. It was sweet. It was so funny. Honestly, B.K. Borison's humor, it's fantastic. It's so good. And there's a little bit of spice in there. It's nothing too detailed, although there is obviously like there's a little spice in it. This book owns my heart. Honestly, I made a bookmark with the car refreshers because that's their thing. I don't have one here, but I did make a bookmark that I sell on my website for this. It's inspired by this. If you're looking for like a Christmas romance for December, you need to grab this. If you're just looking for a really good fake relationship, best friends to lovers, a little bit of tension, found family, you can read this at any time of the year. So that is that for Love Like Farms. After, on the pile, we have Lovesick Ellie volume number 6. I rated this 4 stars just because this volume focuses a lot around like Ellie and Sarah, as well as Kaname, you know, like the very, very morally gray guy who's like, you want to be my friend? And she's like, excuse me, what? So that it focuses more around that, not as much as like the relationship between Omi and Ellie, which that's totally fine. It's just I didn't get as submerged into this one. I still really enjoyed it. Gave it 4 stars, obviously, but it just wasn't like, oh my god, so good. It was just like, oh yeah, that was, you know, a nice, easy read. When I talk about Lovesick Ellie, I don't go into too much detail, because like it's not the first volume. It's further into the story. But this is a very typical shoujo manga, very high school romance type of typical thing. You know, it's nothing very special or unique. But the relationship between Omi and Ellie is it's rather entertaining. I'm not gonna lie. I find it really entertaining. The next book, I'm gonna possibly have a lot to say about this. Your Name by Makoto Shinkai. If you did not know, yes, there is a book for this. My anime fans out there will probably know what Your Name is. It's at the same level as Studio Ghibli, honestly. It's that kind of movie. It's, in my opinion, I consider this a classic in like the world of anime. If you haven't seen this, I strongly recommend it, and I would also strongly recommend reading the book. Now, I don't want to say too much that's gonna spoil anything in the book, but what I am about to say is a potential spoiler. So if you don't want to know anything, please skip a little bit, just so if you don't want to know anything, then you know you don't spoil anything for yourself. Reading the book helps you understand the timelines a whole lot better, honestly. The reason why I read this, okay, spoilers over now. The reason why I read this is because I'd been watching the movie for like the 50th time, okay, as one does. Honestly, it's one of my favorite movies. And I was making bookmarks while I was watching the movie. And even after watching the movie so many times, there were still so many elements that I wasn't like 100% sure that I understood. Like, I thought, oh yeah, I totally get this. And then I'd think, like, do I really? Like, do I understand the right thing? Am I thinking the right thing? Or am I completely mistaken? So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go grab a copy at the bookstore. They had one left. I already have this back at home. I can't wait. I'm gonna go buy it and I'm gonna annotate the heck out of this. And I did. And I had such a blast doing it because it looks so pretty. Obviously, like, I mean, look at the sides. Can you see? I don't know if you can see much or not. But I annotated so much. Took out the clear post-its, wrote a bunch of thoughts and questions, and just really tried to understand this the best I could. Because the story of Taki and Mitsuha is one of the most beautiful love stories I've honestly ever read or watched. I will say that someone just commented on one of my TikToks and their username is Doubloon Bodyguard. If you don't know what a doubloon is, oh my god, please look it up on TikTok. It's honestly, I think it's my favorite side of TikTok I've ever been on, other than booktok. Even then, doubloon, the doubloon side of TikTok, impeccable. You can tell, like, in the book, there are a few moments where, like, okay, like, you know, a little cringy. I mean, if you watch the movie, you know there's gonna be the few elements, like, when Taki's groping Mitsuha. Right, like that's very anime-y, right? Sexualization in anime is like, you expect it, honestly. But otherwise, you get to understand the movie, the characters, the plot, the storyline so much better after reading it. And what I would recommend doing, I'm very, very glad that I watched the movie before reading the book. I feel like it gave me a better understanding of it as I was reading it. And the book is very, very, very identical to the movie. Like, there's hardly anything that's been modified. I think that by having watched the movie and knowing the entire plot line and all of that allowed me to really focus on, like, analyzing the story while I was reading it. I hear a car. Is that a delivery? I've been waiting on 2 books for like the past 3 weeks from Amazon. They haven't been delivered yet. So to have watched the movie allowed me to enjoy the book a whole lot better. And I am not kidding you when I say that I am genuinely thinking about writing my honors thesis on this. If I can, I 100% will. I have so much to say about this, and I would love more than anything to actually study this, to study, you know, the myth of the red string of fate, to study the way that, like, how do dreams come into play. There's so many interesting aspects in this book, so many interesting elements, and it's all very, like, I don't know how to explain it. It's a very heavy book while also being very light to read. Does that make sense? Like, there are a lot of heavy ideas, heavy content, heavy emotions, but it's 175 pages. Like, I read this in one sitting. If I keep talking, I'm gonna talk about this for the entirety of the video, so I'm gonna stop here so I don't bore you anymore. But if you've watched the movie, or if you're a fan of anime, or if you'd like something that's very short to read, but that is very interesting and that will make you think, I really, really recommend this. This is YA, if you weren't aware. It has been translated from Japanese to English. The author is Makoto Shinkai. He actually wrote the book before the movie, like while the movie was in production, I think, something like that. It's explained at the end of the book. Makoto writes a little letter, and then one of his friends wrote an essay on the book. So it's very interesting, and I will stop talking now. Next book, Dear Aaron by Mariana Zapata. This is actually the first book I read in November, I think, and it was recommended to me by one of my booksta friends, Nor I Owe You Forever. This book, okay, if you're new here, hi, I am a Mariana Zapata devoted fan. She is the love of my life. I love her writing. I love her books. If I'm in a reading slump, just give me a Mariana Zapata book and I will be out of it instantly. Her writing is funny. I don't even have the right words for it. It's perfect. It's perfect for me. I hadn't really been super familiar with Dear Erin, and so it wasn't on my list until my friend recommended it to me. This is a military romance, and it also ties in with another one of her books, From Lukov with Love. This is the story of Jasmine's sister Ruby. So Ruby has done, like, you know, you can do these like write letters to soldiers overseas. There's these programs that you can sign up to and do these. Ruby has been in this program for a little while now, and she gets matched with this soldier, Erin, and they start emailing. And a very, very large part of the book, about 200 pages of the book, is just them exchanging emails and messages, okay? Now, if that scares you, or if that makes you think like, ew, no, please just give it a shot. I am begging you, because these emails are gold, okay? These messages, gold. The fact, guys, they fall in love with each other via email, okay? And as you're reading, as the reader, you can just tell that Erin is literally one of the top book boyfriends ever through email. Like, just the way that he writes. I mean, I know we're reading words whether he's writing or whether he's talking, but can you imagine, like, just put yourself in Ruby's shoes. Like, right now, you're reading an email from Erin, and you're like, oh yeah, I can tell this man is loyal, kind, caring, hot, like, all of the above. It's so good. It's so good. And Ruby, you get to see Ruby grow a lot as well in here. Like, I don't want to say too much about it, because it's honestly, it's very fun to experience it without knowing much. But there's a little bit of spice. There's, like, they go on a trip together. Even, like, the first time they meet is literally when Ruby lands. I think it's in Florida they go, I can't remember. And that's the very first time they meet in person. Like, she lands, and they meet at the airport for the first time. It's such a sweet scene. She's having a panic attack, and he's like, let me go get you some water. He's calming her down. He's being just, it's very attractive. Honestly, I mean, a man who knows how to take care of you when you're having a panic attack? Yes, please. Sign me up. I already have it, though, so I'm one of the lucky ones. As with every single Mariana Zapata book, this is everything I could have asked for. There's always something about her writing that just, I can't describe it. It's funny, it's sweet. There's a lot of emotions that you feel when you read her books. And I read them so fast. Literally, her books are the only books that I get to read so fast. And it's not because I don't annotate much, because I do. Quite a lot. It's just that the words are so, like, I read so fast. Honestly, I'm repeating myself so much right now. I'm so sorry. I think it's the cold that has still burnt too many of my brain cells. Anyways, it's so easy to read. And the emails are relatively short. So even though this book is like 500 something, not even, it's 490 pages. About half, a little bit less than half of this are emails and text messages. And like the text messages are like, they're one line. So it's not that long. And if you didn't know, I kind of have a thing for military romances. I got lucky and I'm with a military man. It just so happened that he's a reservist. Honestly, I didn't even know when we started talking. Like, I remember the very first time we talked, like, I texted him. I said, what are you up to? And he said, I'm at the reserve. And I was like, huh? Like, I didn't know what reserve he was referring to. And then one of my friends that is friends with him was like, yeah, he's a reservist, like in the military. And just then I knew, like, okay, this is gonna be It's gonna be fun. All of that to say, I very much enjoy military romances. I'd enjoyed them before I was with my boyfriend. Now I enjoy them even more because I kind of relate to a certain degree. How many stars did I rate this again? 5 beautiful stars for this book. It is not my favorite by Mariana, but it is a very, very good book. Next, we've got Kingdom of the Curse by Kerry Maniscalco. This is the second book in the Wicked trilogy. I had read Kingdom of the Wicked back in October. In November, I really felt like going back into this story, this world. I really missed Wrath. Boy, did not let me down, okay? I will say, like, I rated this 5 stars, okay? I absolutely love this trilogy. I also read Kingdom of the Feared in November. We'll get to that later. It is one of my absolute favorite fantasy series of all time. I'm not kidding. I will say, though, it did feel like the author was a little bit confused as to where she wanted to go with the story, simply because Kingdom of the Wicked was very much, it could easily pass for a YA fantasy romance, whereas this is more like new adult and adult, because there is some like explicit spice scenes in here. Like, there's explicit content. It's rather detailed. And then this one, like, this is full, like, there's erotica in here. Like, that's that. So that aspect, like, I kind of like how each book developed, right? Like, the spice built up, which, like, it makes sense because that's what happens in an actual relationship. If we're talking, like, book-wise, maybe a little bit misleading. I don't know what I'm saying at this point. This was amazing, honestly. 5 stars. And Kingdom of the Feared, Infinity. I'm gonna talk about these two since, you know, same series. I love Wrath and Amelia so much. And in Kingdom of the Feared, there's a very big aspect of found family, okay? The plot twists, immaculate. I mean, I had my doubts, but when it was revealed, I was still like, oh, no, you know, like, it was still dramatic. But I love how there's kind of found family within the family. Does that make sense? Still that little found family element. And Amelia and Wrath, their relationship, I love it. I love it so very much. I love how my reviews are always so all over the place. Honestly, do you even understand what I tell you guys? Like, they must work, because I get a lot of DMs and mentions and stuff like that I make you buy books, so I must be doing something right. But I hope that you understand me in all of this chaos, because I think I'm even more chaotic today because I'm lacking brain cells. Honestly, if you don't understand my reviews, I hope that you find this humorous and that it makes you laugh, even if you don't understand what I'm trying to say about the books. I hope I achieved something out of this video. Anyways, if you like demons, witches, spicy build-up throughout the series, tension, banter, the Wicked trilogy is for you. Look no further, okay? Just go buy it now and read it. Kerry Maniscalco is probably one of my, like, automatic buy authors. I really want to start her other series of, I don't know what's the name of the series, but I know there's Jack the Ripper somewhere in there. Is it Ripper or Reaper? It's not Reaper, it's Ripper, right? I don't know. This is, I'm repeating myself so much. Ah! Read it. Guys, okay, first off, this is not YA. This is not YA. If you see this in the teen fiction can pass, okay? I could let it pass. This is not YA. It's not young adult, it's new adult. Okay, first off, the main character is what, 20? She's about to turn 20. Already there. She is not a young adult, she is in the new adult sphere, okay? And the explicit content, I mean, it's not as heavily detailed as this. Like I've said, there's pure erotica in here. It's not heavy erotica, but it's there. This, not so much, but still there's spice. But not like, I'd say maybe half a hot pepper, but it's still there. First off, I will sell you with one thing, okay? She has a relationship with death, okay? Because death is an actual, like, yes, the way we see him, he's just like a bunch of shadows, but beneath the shadows lies like a physical, touchable man, okay? And he is very sarcastic, and I love him for it. It honestly, so good. The banter, chef's kiss, I swear to God. And there's another love interest in here, but let me tell you, okay, if you don't like love triangles, I don't really enjoy love triangles all that much. So I was kind of really bummed out when I saw the potential of a love triangle. Trust me, you're gonna want to read it. Just give it a shot. Belladonna, it is so good. I got it because of the cover, because look at this. Look how pretty this is. Like, this was worth every penny. When I buy a hardcover and pay like $30 for it and it's completely blank on the cover, give me back my pennies, please, because what am I paying for? Cardboard? No. Is it Singa? I don't know how to pronounce her name. Let me go see.
.com.
Singa. So Singa, I'm gonna say Singa just because I feel like an imposter if I try to say Singa. Okay, we're gonna say Singa. That's that. Singa lost her parents when she was a literal baby, because all of them were poisoned and they died. And I can't say that, that's gonna spoil it. Anyways, but because of that, she can see ghosts, she can see the supernatural. And she cannot die. Hence why she didn't die when her parents croaked, right? She can eat, like, she eats belladonna berries, which are poisonous berries, and she doesn't die, but her soul travels to the land of the dead, and so that's how she can communicate with death. But then she comes back. Like, I guess she kind of dies and then comes back to life, and she does, like, experience the effects of the poisonous berries, you know, like being stabbed to death or something like that. Like, she experiences the pain, but then, like, she's completely fine. At the beginning of the book, she's still staying with her aunt, and then something happens. She can no longer stay with her aunt, so she moves in with some long lost family, cousins, an uncle, whatever. And then when she gets there, she finds out that her aunt died, but she thinks there's more to it. And so she starts investigating, like, what happened? Was she murdered? Did she take her own life? Yada yada yada. What happened? You know, like, she's playing detective, but she's not actually playing detective. She is really being a detective. And there's a lot of, I mean, basically it's a supernatural romance, you know, like, it's a fantasy historical romance type of thing. And oh, I tell you, it felt very, like, if you've read any kind of mystery thriller book, you know how you're trying to solve the murder or solve the mystery? You get this in here. Like, you're reading and you're like, okay, but what if this happened? Like, you're putting together a puzzle as you read, but then you're also enjoying a really humorous and fun love story, as well as not a coming of age, but, like, you see that Singa grows and she comes to, you know, find herself in what the heck was that? She comes to find herself a little bit more, understand herself a little bit more, and perfect found family plot twists. Get ready. Honestly, like, I had seen it coming a tiny little bit. Like, if you go through my annotations, you will see that at one point I was like, could this be what's going on right now? And then as I keep going, I'm like, no, impossible. That couldn't have happened. And then it did. So, and it is a series. The second book, Foxglove, is it Foxglove Manor? The story continues in Foxglove. The book is going to be coming out next year. I cannot wait. I don't know if it's going to be a duology. I think it will. I don't think it's a trilogy. I genuinely can't remember. I don't even know if it's been announced or not. But I rated this 5 stars. It has a spot reserved in my favorite books ever journal. Honestly, I strongly recommend this. I also strongly recommend getting the hardcover. Honestly, you might only be able to purchase the hardcover. I don't even know if they have it in paperback. But the cover is so pretty. I still can't get over it. Honestly, like, this is worth my money. Like, I would have paid $50 for this. Like, you know, when you have to pay, how much did I pay for this? I paid $25 for this book. How much did I pay for this one? I paid $24 for this. $24? $25. And it's plain. You know, like, come on. I mean, I don't regret buying it because I love that series. But so worth it. And look at all the different colors I had to use. Like, one, I had a specific color for that was not YA. I'm not kidding you right now. Look here. I wasn't kidding. And then death being relatable and flirty. How sweet. Quotes, haha, death and magic, theories, questions, spooky. There's a little bit of spook in there. Like, nothing very horror-esque, but there's a little bit. And then what or emotion. This made me think of Small Favors by Erin and Craig, and if you've been following me for a while, you know that I love the book with my whole entire soul, being, body, whatever. I love it so much. And it's not, like, super identical to it, but there's a there's a vibe that they share. Okay. And then the next, I wanted to say next and then last, and I said whatever I said. The last book that I read in November was The Co-op by Tara DeWitt. This was my second book by Tara. The first one that I read by her was Funny Feelings. I love that book with my entire heart. I honestly, if you're looking for something that's sweet, funny, best friends to lovers, fake relationship, read that book. It's absolutely hilarious. They are comedians, okay? It's meant to be funny. This book I rated 4 stars. Now hear me out. This is a marriage of convenience. It actually says a marriage under construction. Lauren inherits her grandmother's apartment, and she wants to fix it up and sell it so that she can start anew, because she does come from family money, but she's been completely cut off because she dropped out of law school. And so when she goes there, she comes across Deacon, who used to be like her situationship back when they were 18. And Deacon also inherited part of the building because his grandmother was with Lauren's grandmother. So they both inherit half and half. And they don't hate each other, but they are very much like enemies to lovers because of miscommunication, misunderstandings. Anyways, Deacon is like a constructor, whatever. He can fix up the place and save money from like hiring people to do it, but he needs the money to buy the materials. Lauren can have that money if she marries. So they get married so that, you know, they can fix it up, sell it, split it half and half, and never see each other again. But they have to live together in that same space. As time goes by, they fall back in love. You know, the typical, it's to be expected. That's the layout of the land. You know, like, that's what you would expect from this kind of book. The only thing that I'm gonna say, though, they were married throughout, like, almost the entire book, and it did not feel like it whatsoever. Like, I know they weren't actually married. I know that. I'm very much aware of that. I know that Lauren and Deacon were not in love. They didn't have to act like a married couple when they were renovating. It's just that I feel like maybe if there had been a few more, like, outings where they had to fake being married, I would have enjoyed it more. They didn't go out much, you know, like they didn't socialize much, which I completely relate to. I haven't been out of the house in a week and a half. I'm not judging here. I'm just saying that if there had been occasions where they had to have been the married couple, where they had to fake being affectionate, there are a few events where that happens. But I just feel like there weren't enough. Like, I kept forgetting that they were fake married. Well, fake married. They did actually get married at a courthouse, but you know, they're not actually married. I just kept forgetting because there weren't a lot of like reminders. I definitely liked how Lauren was, like, she was, like, I guess you could say that she's a grump. She's very like closed off, but very expressive at the same time. It's getting darker outside and now my light looks very bright. I wanted to try using a ring light instead of my ceiling light because the ceiling light gave such a weird lighting, so I wanted to use the ring light. I don't know if this is any better or not. If it's worse, I'm so sorry. Okay, but listen. My cat is trying to break in. Okay, but anyways, to conclude this, I just feel like I absolutely love the humor and the way that they fall back in love with each other even like a bunch of years later. I just feel like maybe it was a little bit rushed. I don't exactly know. Like, again, I still really enjoyed this. I just feel like there could have been a few scenes that were added to the book that would have made this an absolute 5 stars. That's the only thing. I would still recommend this. I would just recommend it as something light and funny to read. Do you get where I'm going with this? I really hope you get what I'm trying to say. But anyways, I still really enjoyed it. Okay, now, I need to get my thumbnail for this video. Probably should have thought about getting that when it wasn't as dark, because now I look kind of odd. I am so terrible at taking thumbnails, honestly. Like, should I put them on my head? I think like that. Okay, well, that was it for the video. I know that I am late in posting my reading wrap-up. I usually try to post it in the first week of the month. I would have if I hadn't had this cold. Again, like, today was the very first day that I felt okay to talk for like an hour long without having to cough every like 5 seconds. Anyways, I really hope that you found a couple of recommendations. Like I keep saying in every single one of my book-related videos, let me know if you've read any of these, if you've added them to your TBR, if you've heard about them, whatever. Just have a fun bookish conversation in the comments. I want to join in. Honestly, I feel like that would be fun. Last month, I chose one of the books that was my absolute favorite of the month. So we're gonna do that again. My absolute favorite book of November would have to have been Your Name by Makoto Shinkai. Speaking of favorite books of the month, you can expect an entire video dedicated to my favorite books of the year. That's going to be one video. And then another video will be my favorite books of every month of 2022. Those will probably come out like in early January. Maybe the end of the summer. I don't know. I try to only post one video a week so that I don't get like too overwhelmed. Especially since I am in exam season right now. I'm trying to, you know, manage everything. It's insane. That's that. I'm gonna get going. I have an essay to write. Thank you so much for watching. If you love books, if you love... What else do I talk about on here? Student life, vlogs, just cozy videos. Make sure to subscribe to the channel, join the family, become a little raindrop, and don't forget to leave me a little thumbs up if you enjoyed me. What am I even doing? If you enjoyed me talking about these books, or if there are any of these that you plan on reading. Okay, I need to stop talking or else I'm gonna start coughing. Thanks for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one.